Good afternoon, evening, morning, everyone. Hello. It's another beautiful evening here on Puffin Rock. In Casa Jeffers. This is week 4 still, the middle of week. Non-fiction book because there's not really a story in this book. It is mostly just things that I was thinking and explaining to my newborn son whenever he first showed up on planet Earth, and it was written in 2015, and the dedication says, "To my son Harland, this book was written in the first 2 months of your life as I tried to make sense of it all for you. These are the things I think you need to know." And there's a little clue as to what I believe is the most important part of this book. At the very bottom on this dedication page, there is a quote from J.M. Barrie, who wrote Peter Pan, that, "Shall we make a new rule of life from tonight? Always try to be a little kinder than is necessary," which I think is wonderful advice. But this book starts off with a little diagram of how to find your way whenever you get lost, and that is how you find the North Pole in the Northern Hemisphere, and it's always a pretty good way to figure out which way is which from that. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the story through in one go, and then I'm going to talk you through some of the art, and then we're going to get Chris O'Dowd to join us if the powers that be in the technological internet ether allow that to happen. So again, here we have, this is where we are. We're on Earth, which is one of 8 planets in the solar system, not including Pluto, which is technically a dwarf planet. And as this points out, this map of our solar system is probably not to scale. Well, hello. Welcome to this planet. We call it Earth. It is the big globe floating in space on which we live. We are glad you found us, as space is very big. See, that's all space. There is much to see and do here on Earth, so let's get started with a quick tour. And just to show you how big space really is, the distance between the Earth and the Moon is almost 250,000 miles, and the next planet, which is Mars, is another 140 million miles that way. The planet is basically made up of 2 parts. There's the land, which is rock and dirt, and there's the sea, which is water. And then there's also islands and also lakes. Let's talk about the land first. It's what we are standing on right now. We know lots about the land. Like, some bits are cold, some bits are really hot, some bits are pointy, bumpy, dry, flat, wet. We know lots about the land. Then there is the sea, which is full of wonderful things. We know a bit about the sea, but we'll talk about that some more once you've learned to swim. Now, does everybody out there know how to swim? Hands up if you know how to swim. I know how to swim. And my son, Harland, who this book is dedicated to, learned how to swim. He's getting there this summer, so we're very proud of him. If you don't know how to swim, promise me that you'll learn how to swim. It's very important. So the sea goes nearly 7 miles deep, which is the Mariana Trench in the middle of the Pacific. There is also the sky, though that can get pretty complicated. So let's move on. On our planet, there are people. One people is a person. You are a person. You have a body. So look after it, as most bits don't grow back. There's a diagram of your body, and the bits that do grow back are your nails and your hair. The most important things for people to remember are to eat, to drink, and to stay warm. People come in many shapes, sizes, and colors. We may all look different, act different, and sound different, but don't be fooled. We are all people. There are animals too. They come in even more shapes, sizes, and colors. They can't speak to us, though. That's no reason not to be nice to them. We've got a little parrot down there saying, I can, it means he can speak. And we've also got a dodo over here saying, I'm not supposed to be here, because dodos went extinct about 150 years ago, sadly. You may not be able to speak yet either, even though your head is filled with questions. Everybody out there? Be patient. You'll learn how to use words soon enough. Generally how it works is that when the sun is out, it is daytime and we do stuff. The rest of the time is night when it is dark apart from the moon and we sleep. Please. Things can sometimes move slowly here on Earth. More often though, they move quickly. So use your time well. It'll be gone before you know it. Though we have come a long way, we haven't quite worked everything out, so there's plenty left for you to do. You'll figure out lots of things for yourself. Just remember to leave notes for everyone else. It looks big, Earth, but there are lots of us on here. 7,327,450,667 the last time I counted. So be kind. There is enough for everyone. Well, that is planet Earth. Make sure you look after it, as it's all we've got. Now, if you need to know anything else, just ask. I won't be far away. And when I'm not around, you can always ask someone else. Because you're never alone on Earth. And there.
Hello! Hello, world!
Have you been watching me flail here for the last 10 minutes?
No, I had no idea how to join us, but what an absolute delight!
We might have broken the internet, Chris. I don't know. How are you doing, sir?
You were just so in demand.
In demand by my kids in the bath, I think.
I know.
and
what a delight.
Oh yeah. Are you doing okay? You're in LA, so it's.
I'm in LA. It's nice. It's a sunny day today. Just keeping all locked down.
Yeah.
Kids are outside in the garden, so things are okay.
Oh, you've got a garden. That's fantastic.
I know. Big difference.
Yeah, we've got a tiny balcony, but we put every square inch of it to use. And I think your kids and my kids are about the same age.
They are. Mine are slightly better kids than yours.
Well, that might well be true, especially after this dinner time we just had.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of potty training, which is so exciting.
Oh, it is. We're doing that too.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I bet nobody thought they were signing up to watch two Irish dads talk about potty training.
I know. Rock and roll lockdown.
Yeah, I know. There's been a few dirty protests, all right, in this house. So
yeah. And what about the kids?
I'm sorry.
And what about the kids?
Oh, yeah. I know that was just Suzanne. She's given up on the whole thing.
Yeah, she's had enough. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello, Instagram. How is everybody doing? Did you read your book?
I did read the book, yes. Well, I think I read the book. I kept saying that it was cutting off, so maybe I'll get a sense after this is done if nobody got to see the book reading, and I'll do it again and post a video. But have you read this book? Did you read this book before you joined in?
Yeah, I read it before we made it. I think I'm trying to remember if you had sent it to me or somebody had sent it to me, or because I think it came around the time that we had our second kid.
Yeah.
And you get an influx of lovely books.
Yeah.
So I was reading this one to my toddler when you or whoever got in touch about animating it. And it's a gorgeous book. I've always loved the story of it. It's so charming and simple. And the illustrations are gorgeous in it. So it was such a fun thing to be part of.
Yeah, no, it was a fun one to do. For me, it was an interesting one. As I was saying at the start of the video, that it's my first ever non-fiction book. So yeah. It's
Are you saying that that story about getting stuff stuck in a tree is not true?
Well, it's partly true. The first half of it is true, but once the objects get really heavy, like from the
Right.
car onwards, it's a little bit exaggerated.
Yeah.
But all of that stuff is still stuck up on the tree for sure. Yeah.
Oh, it's such
And
a
so
gorgeous book.
whenever you were recording this, I've often wondered, you were not in the same city as any of the other actors when you were.
No. I'm trying to think where I was. Oh, weirdly, I was in Vancouver filming something else.
Right. Okay.
And so we managed to get into a studio there. So, yeah, so I don't think I've ever met Meryl Streep. If I have, very briefly.
Yeah.
And Ruth, I love Ruth. And she's been asking me to marry her for quite a long time. So it felt nice to do it in a form like this.
Yeah, to actually be married for a little while. Anyway, yeah, that's fantastic. And have you actually seen the finished film yet?
I did. I saw it a couple of days ago, and I watched it with my boys, and it's so gorgeous.
Oh, that's great.
Lovely thing.
Yeah, I haven't actually watched it yet.
Around this time, when everything is so hard to explain, that it's kind of like, oh, here's also a little textbook on how the world works.
Yeah, and it is kind of crazy that I'm sure maybe you went through the same emotions when your first child was born, but the notion that, wait a minute, you just leave hospital with them and there's no instruction book and you just have to.
I know it's mad, isn't
it out. It is mad. My friend Donald once said,
like an accident.
Yeah, my friend Donald said it was like the whole thing's pretty sci-fi, really, isn't it? When you think of it.
I know it, and then they stay there. They stay with you forever.
Yes, they do. In some cases,
they don't go back to the hospital.
as long as possible. I know there's plenty of people I know still living with their parents, which is
sure
good, nice work if you can get it. And then, so whenever there was a couple of questions that people had asked, so I'll go through those. Whenever you saw the film, this is a question from Laurent. What did you think of the interpretation of the character of you? Because they based all of that acting, I suppose, just off of your voice. I suppose you weren't acting out there.
I thought he looked a lot younger, which I appreciated.
Yeah. Were you happy that you were wearing a sweater vest and that too, like a sleeveless jumper?
I looked so hip.
Yeah.
Which is appropriate.
Yeah. So
he's such a gorgeous daddy and kind of clueless like we all are when we start off, and then kind of finds his feet. So I could certainly relate to him, even if it was just a short period.
Yeah, I know. Well, I still feel like I'm floundering half the time, and like when does the box of secrets get unlocked, and this is how you do it.
I know. It's kind of nice now when they're getting to that age where they seem reasonable. Like the 5-year-old doesn't seem like he wants to ruin the world. So you kind of feel like, oh, well, we've done something right. He's not very obviously a psychopath.
He's saving that up for later.
Yes, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, so somebody called Delphine, who's age 6, has asked, which planet is your favorite?
Oh, we talk about this a lot because we've been doing the planets, and I personally like Earth. I like Earth simply because I know more people on it, and the weather. I like the weather to be kind of like not too hot, but like fairly warm, where it can host a life.
Yeah, so not too cold either.
For me, it's Earth. How about you?
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Earth. It's probably my favorite place too. But the moon is a close second.
Yes.
Just because you could get a bit of space up there, I think. So
you could lots of space.
Lots of space. I've only ever lived in cities, so I don't know what it's like to have a bit of space.
Oh, it's nice. It's nice.
It is.
Less the sound of cows on the moon.
That you know of. You've never been around the dark side.
Who knows?
And somebody else is asking, what steered you both into the children's realm? Because I suppose you've done some, especially with Puff and Rock, you've done some children's television work before. Is that coincide with you having kids of your own?
Yeah, I like doing a little bit of it, a little bit of everything, really. So yeah, I used to do a voice on a cartoon on Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network called Monsters vs. Aliens. And then Paul, who works for Cartoon Saloon, is a neighbour of mine from Boyle in Roscommon. And so he got me in to do some stuff on Puffin Rock. And I brought in Cartoon Saloon to do the animation on Moon Boy, which is a show that I wrote with my friend Nick. And so we do little bits, especially around the time the kids were born. It was
I'm a big fan of Moon Boy, but I never would have thought to put that as in the children's category. Funnily enough,
it's not. Well, we ended up doing children's books for 8 to 12-year-olds. So
Right.
there are kind of novels of Moon Boy as well. I think 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
And they're very sweet, and it's kind of fun to do the audio book for that because I get to do jokes.
Yeah, fantastic. So is that why your Twitter name is Big Boiler, because you're from Boyle?
That's right. And
I never knew that. And you're doing a lot of writing as well as acting these days.
Doing loads of writing, yeah. Doing loads of writing. Writing a couple of shows for networks over here with Nick, who I did Moon Boy with. So
Right.
trying to get a couple of things off the ground, which has been really fun.
Yeah, fantastic. And so a question on writing from Merida in Australia, wondering how you know your idea for a story is a good idea.
When it goes on screen and people like it.
Yeah.
Up until then, it's hard to know. You're kind of guessing. How do you know? What do you decide what to write about for in your kids' books?
That's a funny one. I don't know if I could quantify that. It's little. The one thing I'm absolutely sure of is when you sit down to have an idea is the one time you're not going to have an idea.
Yeah.
So it's whenever you're, I know, cleaning up the toys or going out for a walk, or you accidentally lift the wrong thing, or you get a kite stuck in a tree. That's when ideas happen.
Yes.
from real life and combinations of things.
Yes.
But
you know what can be frustrating when you're in an idea gathering kind of phase, because you've got some time to decide to do some writing, and your head becomes this kind of little creative realm. And I was playing with one of the boys a couple of days ago, and we had all their toys lined up, and we were giving them voices and stuff. And I had this fleeting thought where I thought, what would be a great idea for like a kids movie would be like if all the toys started coming to life when the kids were around.
Did you miss the 1990s?
It took me a good 2 minutes, and when I had that realization, oh my God, Toy Story's already, I was so disappointed.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point to answer that question. How do you know your idea is a good idea? Is one thing I've thought is whenever it feels like it should have already been done, and then you look and you realize that it hasn't. That's the magic moment. You're like, wait, this is so good that surely somebody has done this.
For me, it's just I wanted to have a good, because most of my stuff is aimed towards adults and whatnot. I generally want a good conflict, and I want lots of avenues for humor.
Yeah,
that's it, really.
Yeah, just a platform to be yourself, really.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. And there's one last question. Somebody's asking, what are some of your favorite books to read to your children? Don't worry, I won't be offended. You don't have to say mine.
Oh my God, there's so many. I mean, it's been kind of fun going. Right now, we're getting into my 5-year-old is much more interested in, what would you call them? Like almost textbooks, like National Geographic books on animals.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah,
like all that stuff is gorgeous. He's obsessed with big cats, so all of those kind of big cat books and things like that. And then in terms of the other stories, I do love your stories. And we've been doing a lot of Roald Dahl recently, which has been great. Yeah. But the ones that really have tided us over are like the Julia Donaldson books are so great.
Yeah, oh, she's fantastic. My kids love her as well.
Yeah,
and the animations for those too that they come out every Christmas are fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, look, Chris, I know you're extremely busy, so I'm gonna let you get back to your work. And well, hopefully, we'll be chatting soon enough.
Lovely talking.
And I'll have a beer with you or 3 whenever this is all over and done with, and we're in the same place. All right, thank you, sir.
Cheers, Ali. Good luck.
Goodbye, Chris. Goodbye. And so, just there's a couple of other questions that people have been asking about the premiere and when the film's going to be out. It's going to be out this Friday, pretty much from 5 a.m. in the UK and Europe, and so all day really on Friday. If you want to join in, my family will be holding a pre-premiere red carpet party. We're going to dress up and watch it and make some cocktails and popcorn, and get people to join in and send us your photographs of that. Other people are asking, how do viewers watch it? And it's only available on Apple TV. Apple TV are the producers for it, so it's only available on their platform. But you don't need to own a physical Apple TV box to have it. You can just download the app, and it acts like any of the other streaming devices, Netflix or Hulu or whatever. And I think there's a subscription deal to start with. I'll look up the information on that and put it on my website. But for now, thanks everybody for joining. Sorry about all the technical issues today. The internet seemed to be very slow until I removed the vacuum cleaner and opened the door. And I will see you all again on Friday. Okay, bye-bye. Thanks.